With the 12th pick in the third round of the 2022 NWSL Draft, the Washington Spirit select Audrey Harding from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington.
UNCW made national headlines again in women's soccer over the weekend as Audrey Harding joined Sydney Schneider among draft picks in UNCW women's soccer history. Audrey was kind enough to join us after being picked number 38 overall by the Washington Spirit. Audrey, congratulations. First, take us through the day a little bit. The draft started at 2:00. You get through the first round. You get through the second round. Haven't heard your name called yet. You get to the third round, and finally, you get that phone call that you're going to get drafted and the selection pops up. Take us through the day a little bit.
Yeah, so I had turned the TV on right at 2, so I had been watching, through all the commercials and just the before scenes. And, it had been full 2 rounds that my name hasn't been called. And so I'm starting to feel a little bit down because I'm not sure if I'm going to get drafted or not. And then comes the third round, I'm still watching, and, we're getting right down to the end of it. And I'm like, oh, so we got one more round, so I might be able to get drafted. And right before I get picked, my head coach, Chris, texts me. He's like, get ready. And right then my heart dropped because I was like, he must have gotten a call from someone, but I don't know who it is. And then I ended up getting a call from Washington. So I answer and they're like, hey, just want to let you know, we're going to pick you. It hasn't happened yet, but so then I go out and I look on the TV and I see Chicago's picking, and then I see Washington's up next. So I'm standing there and my heart's racing. I'm getting excited and nervous at the same time. And then I hear my name called and I hear or see my face on the screen, and I'm like, oh, I was just speechless, and I started crying because I really wasn't expecting it since it had been almost, the full 3 rounds. And just to have that happen, I was overwhelmed and like just speechless and so grateful and excited, just all those emotions.
When you look back on the day, and you and I talked over the weekend about this being a dream come true for you, put that into a little bit of perspective for us in terms of now you've become a professional soccer player. The dream has been fulfilled. You've reached that goal. What does that mean for you?
Oh, it means a lot. Since I've been little, soccer's been my number 1 sport. And growing up, I've had people tell me like there's something special about me. And, sometimes I, couldn't really see it. But when I had that dream, even going into college, it was a huge deal because I knew I had to prove a lot. And, from my club days, I'd be traveling 2 hours to practice. And so, just all the time and effort that not just me, that my family, my friends, my coaches put into me and giving me the opportunity, it means a lot that all of it's paid off. And I've had a lot of people reach back, especially some of my old coaches that have texted me. And so it means a lot for them to notice and see their part of their work taken to that level. So.
And it's being drafted is the culmination of a pretty good week for you. Let's go back in your timeline. You graduated from UNCW on the 11th, Scholar All-America by the United Soccer Coaches on the 16th, and now you get drafted. I don't think there's anybody in the country who could have had a better week than you.
Yeah, it's been a lot, but it's all been very good news. So, I'm just very grateful for it all. And, it's very exciting getting all of that news, especially graduating and not knowing kind of what's going to happen next. And so, getting the Scholar All-American was amazing. And then getting drafted was even better. It was part of my dream, and it kind of answered a lot of questions for me after graduation. So that was really awesome.
And it's not bad either that you're going to go to a team where a former teammate in Sydney Schneider is waiting to join you again. That had to be pretty cool to join her and reunite.
Yeah, when Chris texted me to get ready, I was like, I don't know who's going to draft me. And then I see Washington up there about to, their pick is next. And I was like, oh my gosh, this can't be real. Like, I'm gonna be back with my old teammate and one of my great friends. And especially for me, it's gonna be I think really helpful and just good for me to have like a familiar face going into that. And someone who's been there as a rookie and has been through the first season. So it'll be really awesome. And I can definitely learn not from those players who already have a lot of experience in the league and on the Spirit team, but also Sydney, who's come from the same school. You know, we've grown up in our college careers together, and now to play with her again, it's going to be really awesome. And I think I'm going to learn a lot from her.
How important is it for you going forward to have that familiarity with Sydney? How important is it for you to be able to ask her questions and get to know what it's like to be a professional and the processes and the travel and everything else?
Yeah, it's gonna be really great for me. I think, I was talking to Chris about that, and he actually said the same thing. Just because, you don't want to feel like you're asking someone too many questions or be overwhelming to them. So I know Sydney won't mind if I ask her all these questions. I'll probably talk to her soon and ask her a few questions. So just knowing I have someone like her and who's been one of my really good friends, I think it's going to be very helpful.
From a broader perspective, as you look at the draft list and who got drafted, it's got to be pretty cool to be among 3 draft picks from the CAA, a mid-major conference that normally doesn't get that much attention, but to be part of that trio has to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, when I think Lucy Shepard was the first one, she got drafted, and I was like, okay, it can happen. Like we're doing it. It's people from our CAA, and I thought Mary Taylor was definitely probably going to get drafted. So I was like, okay, I think I have a good chance still. And just to know that there's girls in our mid-major league who got drafted among like some of these huge schools is really great. I think not just for us who got drafted, but the CAA, and especially to have a CAA player, Lucy Shepard, on the same team with me, I think will be a great thing for me.
This is the culmination of an outstanding senior season for you, a 5th-year senior season, that is. You lead the team in scoring. You're a first-team all-conference player. You lead the team to its first ever regular season title. Walk me through your 5th-year senior season from a broad perspective and what it's meant for you this year.
Yeah, so having that 5th year, I knew right away. I told Chris, I want to stay, and I want to play for you guys one more year because, personally, just for me, I felt like I still needed to do more than I did my senior year to, hopefully achieve my dream of playing professional. So just the start of the season, as soon as our spring season ended, I was like, I got to get back to work. So I started working out and going to the field, and then game time comes around, and I know I have to just leave it all on the field and give 110%. So each game, that's what I did, because I knew that in the end, it would either make or break my possibility of getting professional career. So I think that's just been a big part of it, and especially Chris and our other coaching staff just, supporting me and telling me things to work on in practices, which I applied. And I think that was a big part in me getting where I am.
When you look back on your career, a 5-year career where you end up one of the all-time greats in scoring, what has playing at UNCW meant to you? What is your career meant to you personally?
Yeah, it's meant a lot because, actually getting the chance to play in college is a huge deal. So when I got to UNCW, I knew I wanted to do everything I could to get on the field and represent our school very well. So just playing for UNCW has meant the world to me because, it's not one of those huge schools. And, I liked it. We were the underdogs and we had so much to prove. And that's kind of what I wanted for me. I had a lot to prove. So to be on a team where, we would have to prove and work hard and get the wins, that's the type of school that personally fit me the best. So I'm just grateful I ended up there.
So now the draft is over. You've got your team. What in the next few weeks look like for you? Obviously, you got the holidays coming up, but season's right around the corner, especially with the Challenge Cup as they announced during the draft.
Yeah. So I think in the next few weeks, I am going to head back to Wilmington and get some training in with the team. So I make sure I keep up my fitness and my ball work. And, I'll work with Chris and our strength coach to get ready and prepared for that. So I know I talked to Chris about that, and he said that's probably a really good thing to do and important. So just training really, because this is my profession now, so I'm just gonna put everything into it. And then I think our preseason, they said, starts around early February, so just getting ready for that and leading up to that moment.
Finally, I asked this question of Sydney when we spoke in January, and I'll ask you, it's kind of a unique question, but as you look back on your academic career at UNCW, what was the toughest class you took?
Oh, the toughest class. Okay, let's see. I don't know if it was a class, but I would probably have to say my internship. Just because, I think it was harder than any of my classes because it got moved into our spring season when COVID hit. And so, my coach, Chris, said he could count how many practices I made it to in the spring, probably about 10 on my hand. So I missed so many practices during that season because I had to be in the school all day from 7 to 3:30, and then I'd also rush to get to practice, and I'd have to go to games on the weekends and also prepare for a class I'm teaching full time. And I think that was harder than any class I've ever had. So just because of the stress and like I had a responsibility with my classroom, but then I also wanted to do well on the field because I knew, this would be part of my dream of playing professional, and I needed to do well. So, yeah.
Well, Audrey, we wish you the absolute best of luck, and we are so happy for you. As you can see, I've already got the Washington Spirit scarf there ready to go, and we can't wait to see what's next for you, and can't wait to see you and Sydney team up again during the 2022 campaign.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
That's Audrey Harding of the UNCW women's soccer team, and now the Washington Spirit. The season gets underway in the spring with the Challenge Cup, followed by the regular season. For Audrey Harding, I'm Eric Rue. Thanks so much for your time, and until we meet again, go Seahawks.